All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, I wanted to give you guys a quick update on something that we've not talked about in quite a while that I would like to update you guys a little bit more on as we do move forward, because I think we're finally getting to the time in which we are going to start seeing some moves pretty soon, and that is about Shiba Inu. Now, of course, this is a crypto that hasn't necessarily done the most moving, especially throughout the 2024 bull market beginning, and of course, that has led a lot of people to wondering what in the world is going on with it, why is it not necessarily moving, and what my general thoughts are. Now, I know we've talked about it in live streams and of course on some shorts and on Twitter, but I really want to start, kind of consistently putting out some content in terms of full videos about it. And if that is something that you would be interested in, please do let me know down in the comments below. And of course, make sure you do smash that like button. Now, what I wanted to talk a little bit about today was the fact that a lot of people are saying that what we're seeing from Shiba Inu is underwhelming and that realistically, it's just not going to make many moves this market. When you look at this thing, let's go ahead and, kind of share screens here. When you look at this thing and kind of get a feel for what it's done, it's really not done too much, right? And a lot of people are comparing it to things like Solana or things like Ethereum or whatever it may be, in the sense that, yes, it did have a bit of a pump, but the pump itself wasn't really all of that outstanding. It didn't really catch any, major momentum, and we were pretty damn far off from that all-time high still, leading a lot of people to feel like Shiba Inu is just a dud, that it's not coming back and all this other stuff. Now, today we're not going to talk about it from more of a technical perspective. We're actually going to talk about it from a more fundamental perspective and why I think what we're seeing right here is actually a very good thing, and that I think that there is a lot more potential to the upside coming soon. Now, as you guys do remember, again, don't forget, guys, we are staying out in Dubai for the next week or so the quality of these videos will be a little bit lacking, but of course that will be better once we get back to the studio. But of course we will be hitting token 2049, so if you are out there and you do see me, feel free to come up and say hello. And of course, shout out to Margex for making all of this possible, staying at this villa here on the Palm. It's really awesome. And so with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about, of course, moving forward now, why I think that what we are seeing from Shiba Inu is actually very good for what we are seeing in the general market. Now, the majority of what I am going to be focusing this thesis on is the progress bar of the general bull market cycle for Bitcoin. Now, you guys know Rec Capital is a Twitter account that we love to follow and we love to make videos about because they post some interesting content. And what they say here is that the bull market's current progress is right around 36%, which is within the threshold that I also agree we're in. I think we're between 30 and 40%, so 36% does sit in there pretty well. And they, of course, say that the progress bar is based on standard halving cycles. Now, what that means is that realistically, the bull market that we're seeing right now is maybe around only 36% finished. We still do have some room to run. We still do have a lot of upside. And although the market might get a little ugly, we might see some consolidation or even capitulation, we should see overall growth in the long term. And kind of knowing that and having that in mind, well, of course, your question then may be, well, what does that have to do with, Shiba Inu? And why does that mean what we're seeing from Shiba Inu is a good thing? Well, at the beginning of the video, again, you guys remember I mentioned the fact that a lot of people are saying, look, Shiba Inu is underwhelming. It's not doing much. It's a dud and all this stuff. And one thing people aren't thinking about is the fact that Shiba Inu is still going to be a part of the liquidity cycles. Within the world of crypto, the liquidity generally goes from your least risky to your most risky, right? So what that looks like is, say, for example, in a real life example, you're going to go from something like Bitcoin down to Ethereum, down to a Solana, down to a Jasmy, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And generally speaking, whenever you start to see the liquidity cycle happening, you're going to see meme coins or even these different like micro cap cryptos. They're going to be the last ones to pump. On a macro scale, on the long-term big scale of things, you're only going to see the micro caps and the meme coins start pumping towards the end of the cycle once liquidity is flowing from the least risky to the most risky. And what that means for something like Shiba Inu is that realistically in the beginning of the cycle, it's not going to pump that much. Liquidity is not going to go into it that much. It's just not what happens within these asset classes in terms of the overall liquidity flow. And that's a part of the reason why I think we're seeing Shiba Inu not really moving too much at this given point. And so what that means for me is that where we are right now could be still a beautiful time to be accumulating, because if I am correct, that means that Shiba Inu should start to really catch the majority of its momentum towards the end of the bull market, towards the second half of the bull market, which means we've not even gotten remotely close to that yet, only being about 36% of the way through the bull market. And so at this given point, as I mentioned before, I think that this does mean it's a beautiful time to start dollar cost averaging in. You guys, of course, know that on the 4-hour charts, we started to see an absolute ton of these DCA plus signals going off from HG Algo. You guys know HG Algo is my company's indicator, which quite simply just tells you, look, this is a good time to be buying some Shiba Inu, and it'll send text messages to your phone. And you can see the last time that we got these signals, we got this huge pump to the upside. And so when you mix in the fact that we're not even in the liquidity cycle for Shiba Inu yet, but we are starting to see the consolidation, we are seeing the pullback, and we are seeing all of these signals going off saying that this is a good time to buy, it tells me that once the bull market does continue continue and we finally see it hit like the halfway threshold or maybe the 60% threshold, that we should see Shiba Inu really starting to be able to catch some momentum as liquidity does flow towards meme coins. And of course, being a vet of the meme coin ecosystem, I think we could see some beautiful gains. And so, as I mentioned before, I wanted to talk today a little bit about it from a more fundamental perspective as to why I do again still believe that Shiba Inu's not even gotten started yet, that it's not too late at all. And realistically, what we are saying is a good thing, because the fact that it's pumping right now is realistically just an appetizer of what should come once liquidity is actually flowing into the world of meme coins. So I will continue to update you and do some technical analysis and fundamental analysis and things of that nature. But I really wanted to hone in on the fact that where we are in the liquidity cycle right now is not in favor of meme coins. So the fact that Shiba Inu is up at all right now is a fantastic sign and could lead to some even more bigger gains as time does go on. So as I mentioned before, of course, I hope you guys do enjoy the Shiba Inu content. If you did, you can always let me know by quite simply leaving a comment down below or smashing that like button while you are down there. Of course, don't forget, of course, you can check out HG Algo in the links as well. You will get 20% off and a 30-day money back guarantee if you do want to give it a try. Literally risk-free. So again, check that out. And of course, I will see you all very soon in the next video. Again, shout out to Margex for making this happen, and I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.